I came into the project after they'd already shot a considerable amount of footage, so I was in the unique position of having to match what was already done, as well as try to, to bring something of my own work to it.
8 months later, I meet Andrew Seltz, and I show him the raw footage, and Andrew's a capable photographer and director in his own right, and I kind of explained what the situation was. He saved, as far as I'm concerned, he saved the production, because we had half a film, and 9 months had passed, and we weren't ready to get back into production.
Dave had initially started the production, and the original production basically ran out of finances, and so he didn't have the entire film done, and he was, after a period of time, trying to get things back going again, and was trying really hard to get the momentum again.
Oh, you mean like you need money
Yeah.
to do these things? Yeah.
And so he needed to get the momentum back, and he was trying to get some people back together to start again so that he didn't just completely lose the film. He had put out a little notice saying he was looking for a PA. I'd done a film of my own before the year before, and I thought it'd be nice just to meet some other people who are doing it, try and get my momentum going again, and it'll be fun.
Right.
And I showed up as a PA. By lunchtime, I was the DP.
That's so funny.
And then he called me back at the end of the summer and said, "Would you like to shoot the rest of the film for me?" And I did.
The second time around, we were out. We were in and out very quickly. I remember that. It was like, wow, you just walk in, you do your thing, get out.
He shot half the film on probably 1/10 of what we shot the first half the film for.
And you were also a co-producer.
And well, it ended up being a lot more involved than just showing up with the camera and doing that. One of the things that Dave kept saying to me over the production, all the way through the production as well as in post-production when he was editing, was the more he worked with me and the more he worked with the material that we shot, the more he realized how much I had contributed to the film and wanted to give me more credit. So he kept going, "I'm going to make you this, and I'm going to make you that, and I'm going to make you this." And I'm like, "That's fine.
Before you know it, you had a
I just
shoe
wanted to
shiner
get done. I just wanted to get done because a film that I shot that never got finished isn't any help to me or anyone else."
It's been a test. It's been a test. It's the first time that I've gone through this kind of experience where you'll sometimes have 6 months between doing scenes, and you have to put yourself right back where you were 6 months ago, even though a lot of other things have happened since then, even in your personal life and professional life.
From what I understand, I was the last person cast. And then I was called back after a long period to do some reshoots and some inserts and some, finishing touches there. So now it's 2007, and we're doing some reshoots today.
I was just at the mindset that I wanted to just get this thing done because it doesn't matter, nobody's ever going to see it.
It's been grueling sometimes, but it's and it just shows that filmmaking is anything but glamorous.
By that time I was convinced that it just wasn't going to work and it wasn't going to come together.
Chris Penny was actually only 21 years old when he first started editing this film.
I thought that Chris was a great editor. I thought we had a good rapport together, and I would very easily work with him again. So I have every confidence that one day he's going to be largely successful. Editing was probably the one thing that did go smoothly, but unfortunately that wasn't the end of anything.
So color correction is another 2 or 3 years in the making. I hired some guy who wasn't quite able to do it after spending 8 to 9 months on it.
I was sure that 9 times out of 10 the director would have folded, but Dave didn't.
I hired somebody else, tried it, didn't work. I hired somebody who was a professional and wasn't quite able to do it.
Dave is relentless. He just keeps going and going and going.
Okay, let's suppose someone is abused their whole life. They go out and buy a gun and shoot everybody in their house.
Sound design was a complete other fiasco. Now, I had hired somebody who took 8 months on it, and then he quit. And then I hired somebody else who lost his hearing through a virus. I'm not kidding. Maybe 4 months into him doing it. I hired somebody else and he got a job overseas and left. I hired somebody else and then he quit after a day. I hired somebody else and he made the sound worse than the way the sound started off. Finally, I found Tom Gambale, and he literally did all the things that the other guys said were impossible.
My name is Tom Gambale. I am the owner of Media Racket Audio Post-Production. Many directors that I've known who've been told that their audio is, critically, in critical condition, really bad. Most times that's just not the case. It just requires a little bit more care and a little bit more attention.
You don't want it to sound like a student film. You want it to have some life to it. You want to get rid of that high-end noise. You want it to sound like as much like a real film as possible.
How is she?
I'm trying not to think about it.
How is she?
I'm trying not to think about it.
The score in this film is it has to be mentioned because it's like a character all unto itself.
To me, a musical score is so pivotal to the end story. And I don't think I'll ever do a film that doesn't heavily rely on musical score. I scoured the internet trying to find somebody that I thought was going to be able to live up to this task, and to be able to do it on no money, do it on the synthesizer, and make it work. And I found the guy that I thought would be ideal for it. I talked him into it, and he spent probably about a year on and off on this thing. And then he quit. So I had to find somebody else. And it was Evan Evans and Joseph Bauer who worked together on it.
Just as relentless as I was on the actors, I was really annoying when it came to them. The score went through maybe 20, 30 rewrites.
If I don't come back home tonight, you better lock up. Somebody tried to break in last year. So what are we talking about here?
Does the black circle ring a bell?
What do they do?
It's sick, Kurt. I can't believe what I'm looking at.
So what are we talking about here?
Does the black circle ring a bell?
What do they do?
It's sick, Kurt. I can't believe what I'm looking at.
I don't have that many resources. I don't have camera jibs. I can't float things. I can't do all these elaborate things that other movies can. But I can dedicate a lot of time on the score and making it sound right.
So many times I felt like just walking away and not finishing the film. But I said, no, I'm going to be professional. I committed to this thing. I'm going to do it. And it ended up being a good thing.
It was an experience. It was a growth experience. It was a learning experience. I'm glad that I stayed.
I don't really think it's possible to make a great film on a micro budget because ultimately there's too many things working against you. But I do think it's possible to make a good film on a micro budget, and I really hope that's what this is.
Any future projects coming up?
Yeah, I got Caesar and Otto. That's already shot. We did that in California. I vowed never, ever to take on a film that was lower than $30,000. And I did one for about $4.50.
You listen to me now!
It's about the world's worst actor, and I play the world's worst actor.
Who are you? I just need to talk to him for a second. He's my brother. How do you get this remote to work? I tried changing the battery.
The VCR! It's not working! It's not! An emergency!
The first things I ever did were really stupid comedies. So after this hardcore thriller and mystery, I wanted to do something that would be fun and light.
I mean, what if we put them on a sitcom that they don't know they're on?
The flaming gay guy of the list is a bit of a stereotype.
It's just about this horrible actor who becomes part of a reality TV show that he doesn't know he's on.
You know how much I wanted that role, Otto, and you were just gonna take it away from me like that? You inconsiderate bastard!
You wanted the role so much, you should have just told me.
I told you 100 times! Yeah, just keep going right in front of the car. That's good!
Just a fun little Dumb and Dumber meets a Truman Show.
Lastly, any advice for filmmakers just starting out?
Yes, be hard on yourself. I mean, if you settle with the take of someone saying, "Whatever do you mean?" do the take again.